All right, buckle up, everybody, because today on the deep dive, we're going all in on Tom Cruise. I mean, he's been a Hollywood heavyweight for what feels like forever, all right? But the question is, can we separate the man from the myth? Or, you know, maybe the better question is, should we even try?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
To get some answers, we're going deep into the source material, Tom Cruise's Wikipedia page. We're talking about everything: his crazy childhood, his strategic career moves, and of
Yeah,
course,
we can't ignore
your
the
Scientology.
Scientology. That's right.
Okay, so to kick things off, Tom Cruise's childhood, it was a far cry from, like, the glamorous Hollywood life.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it. 15 schools in 14 years. That's
Yeah.
constant upheaval, no stability. You got to wonder how that shapes a person, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's easy to see how that might make someone crave control later in life. And speaking of complicated, his relationship with his dad, Cruz has actually called him a merchant of chaos, a bully, even a coward at one point.
Wow, those are some strong words.
Yeah, no kidding.
Makes you think there's some deep-seated resentment there.
Yeah.
Maybe even a sense of abandonment, you know?
Totally. And you start to wonder, is that drive for success, that need to prove himself, could that be rooted in those early experiences?
It's certainly possible.
All right, so before we jump into those blockbuster years, did you know Tom Cruise has a Canadian connection?
Oh, he does. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he actually lived in Ottawa for a bit.
No way.
And get this, his first acting gig was an improvised play called IT.
IT. Seriously.
Seriously, isn't that wild?
That's amazing. You know, when you think about him now, it's hard to picture him doing anything small scale.
Right, like where's the helicopter, the explosions, you
Mm.
know? Speaking of unexpected paths, there's that whole priesthood thing early on. It's such a contrast to, well, everything else in his life, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Talk about a juxtaposition.
He was at St. Francis Seminary, wanted to be a Franciscan priest.
That's right, he did.
Can you imagine, like, Tom Cruise in robes, taking confessions?
It's a pretty wild image, right?
Totally.
But from what I hear, his time in the seminary was cut short. Sneaking some booze, apparently.
Oh, no way. See, I knew there had to be a little bit of that Hollywood rebel in him somewhere.
Maybe those were just early signs of things to come.
All right, so let's fast forward a bit. He's bussing tables in New York, doing small parts, then boom, Risky Business hits, then Top Gun. He becomes a superstar almost overnight, right?
Absolutely. Risky Business just captured the whole 80s vibe. That youthful energy breaking the rules.
And Top Gun solidified him as, like, the ultimate heartthrob.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's crazy to think those two movies, just 3 years apart, launched him into a whole different league.
And he didn't just coast on that early success either. He made some really interesting choices, branching out from pure action.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, think Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, even A Few Good Men.
You're right, he was showing his range.
Yeah.
Proving he could handle those more dramatic roles.
Exactly. It was like he had this plan, this Tom Cruise picture formula.
Oh, absolutely. He often plays that driven underdog, overcoming obstacles through sheer willpower.
Like in all those movies you mentioned, but also Jerry Maguire, The Last Samurai, even Edge of Tomorrow.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
recurring theme.
And then, of course, there's Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
That franchise became his signature, right?
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
He's the ultimate action hero for, like, a whole new generation.
And what's really impressive is his commitment to doing his own stunts. Even the crazy, dangerous ones.
Talk about dedication, right?
Absolutely. He's constantly pushing the limit.
And it pays off. The box office numbers are insane.
Billion-dollar franchise, one of the highest paid actors ever.
But with that level of fame, that fortune, comes a whole other level of scrutiny.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And Tom Cruise's life off screen, well, it's generated just as many headlines as his movies.
That's the truth.
I mean, it's like he's scaling the Burj Khalifa 1 minute and then dodging personal questions the next. His relationships have been, let's be honest, tabloid gold for years.
Yeah, 3 high-profile marriages. Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, Katie Holmes.
Mm.
And all of them played out in the public eye.
It makes you wonder how anyone could handle that kind of pressure, especially with his career and, you know, everything else going on.
Right, it's a lot to juggle.
And it's not just the marriages. He's known for, well, suing people.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely not afraid to take legal action.
I mean, tabloids, bloggers, even a porn star at one point.
I remember that. That was a wild one.
So there was that time he sued the Daily Express. They said his marriage to Nicole Kidman was fake.
Oh, right, and then there's that whole thing with the website.
TomCruise.com.
Yeah, he went after the owner for using that domain name.
It seems like he's really protective of his image, his reputation.
I mean, can you blame him?
Yeah.
With that level of fame, it comes with the territory.
And then there's the Scientology. It's been a huge part of his life for decades.
He's incredibly outspoken about his beliefs, too.
He credits it with helping him overcome dyslexia, right?
That's right, and he's a big advocate for their practices.
It's interesting how private he is about some things, but then he's so public about this.
It's definitely a unique approach.
But it's led to some controversy, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure, especially his views on psychiatry.
Scientology opposes it, right?
Yeah, and he's made some pretty strong statements,
Calling it a pseudoscience, even.
which obviously upset a lot of people in the mental health field.
It's a clear example of how his personal beliefs have clashed with, well, public opinion.
It's definitely been a point of contention.
And then there was that whole YouTube video incident, the Tom Cruise Scientology video. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, how could I forget?
It got pulled down, caused a huge uproar.
It was a big deal. A lot of people saw it as censorship,
It really showed how Scientology tries to control the narrative.
especially around high-profile members like Cruise.
It's like this constant battle between his desire for control
Mm.
and the fact that fame, well, he can't control everything.
It's true. There's always going to be that push and pull.
He's so careful about his image in his movies, doing those death-defying stunts. But then his personal life is this, like, unpredictable thing.
It's almost like he's trying to walk a tightrope, you know?
Trying to balance his dedication to Scientology with his image as a global movie star.
And it makes you wonder, how has this impacted his career? Has it alienated fans? Or has his talent, his box office draw, just outweighed it all?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Can you really separate the art from the artist?
I mean, it's a debate that's been going on forever, right?
And with someone like Tom Cruise, it's even more complicated.
It really is.
He's all about pushing boundaries in his movies, obviously, with the stunts. But some would say with his beliefs, too.
Yeah, and it's hard to ignore how those beliefs have affected how people see him.
There have been protests, boycotts, people saying Scientology has too much control over him.
Right, it's been a big source of controversy.
But despite all that, he's still one of the biggest movie stars out there.
Oh, absolutely, no question about it.
His movies make a ton of money, and he's not slowing down anytime soon.
It's kind of amazing he's dealt with so much controversies, personal stuff, the media hounding him, and he still comes out on top.
So what's the secret? Is it just that he's super talented and charismatic?
Well, I think it's a few things. He's definitely a great actor. He works incredibly hard, pushes himself to the limit for his roles.
And let's not forget that smile, that screen presence.
Oh, yeah, he's got that movie star aura for sure.
He's built this image of the ultimate hero, the guy who always wins, never gives up. And it's kind of like how he approaches everything in life, isn't it?
You're right, it's that same determination, whether it's a stunt or defending his beliefs.
It's like he's living a Tom Cruise picture in real life.
With all the drama and high stakes.
And somehow he always comes out on top.
And maybe that's what people connect with, that idea of never giving up. Maybe it's a bit of escapism too, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. He's a real paradox, an enigma.
Definitely.
But one thing's for sure, he's a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job diving deep into the world of Tom Cruise.
We covered a lot of ground.
The man, the myth, the legend.
And now it's up to you to decide, can you separate the art from the artist?
Can you enjoy his movies knowing about all the stuff going on behind the scenes?
It's a question everyone has to answer for themselves.
But one thing's for sure, Tom Cruise isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
He's a Hollywood icon.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of the people and ideas that shape our world